In this video, I'll be showing you how to do the main Easter egg on the Black Ops 3 Zombies map, Eisendrache. Now, some disclaimers before you start. Do not do this Easter egg in an unranked game, only in a ranked game. Otherwise, you will need all 4 bows required regardless of how many people are in your game. If you do it ranked, you only need 1 upgraded bow per person. Additionally, before you start this guide, make sure you have 1 upgraded bow per person, the Ragnarok DG4 Specialist weapon built, and the Zombie Shield crafted. I will have all of these guides linked in the description. Finally, I would recommend using the near-death experience gobblegum because it will make the boss fight much easier. So without further ado, let's get into it. Once you have 1 upgraded bow per player in the game, go back and grab the Wrath of the Ancients bow and shoot all the prongs on top of the teleporter to turn them to gold. You'll know the first step is completed when you hear the audio cue. One important thing to note is the next 3 steps must be done in the same round. When you hear the audio cue, it means a white wisp has spawned in one of 8 locations. These locations are the telephone near spawn, the car tire near double tap, inside the room above double tap, telephone near the power switch, the world globe in Samantha's room, a radio set in the corner next to Speed Cola, the wall clock above the command center room, and the clock inside the hall leading from the bell tower. You need to shoot 4 of these wisps, each with an upgraded bow, and the spawn order will be random. Now, if you fail this step, you'll hear a buzzer, but you can just try it again the next round once you hear the Margwa audio cue. Be careful shooting your upgraded bow next to a spot when the wisp isn't there, or this can cause you to fail. When you succeed, you'll hear an audio cue, and the teleporter pad will now be glowing purple. When all the players are on the teleporter pad, interact with it, and it will teleport you back in time. Right when you've teleported in, go to the left and grab the blue glowing canister in the corner of the room. Then head back to the right and grab these fuses lying on top of the box. The final thing you need to do is watch the code that the doctor puts in the vault. Memorize the code because you'll need it for the next step. If you haven't already activated the death ray, make sure and activate it right now to power the computers on. Place the fuse inside the death ray and then on the opposite side, flip the switch from destroy to protect. You can now interact with the computer next to the clock tower to turn it on. Once you've interacted, input the same exact code you watched the doctor put into the safe earlier. This will cause the safe in the teleporter room to open, and you no longer have to worry about the round ending. Head down to the safe and pick up the golden floppy disk and 2 rods. Head back to the death ray and place the 2 rods in the empty slots on opposite sides of the death ray. Then flip the switch back to destroy. Interact with the computer by the clock tower. 4 symbols will appear on the screen and you need to memorize them because they will only be there for a few seconds. Now each time one pops up on the main screen, interact with the correct terminal that corresponds to that symbol. Once they are all finished, they'll blink and you can move on to the next location. Head down to the rocket site and there will be another computer where you have to do the exact same thing. Once you're finished with that location, they'll start blinking and you can now head back up to the death ray for the next step. Press the green interaction button on the back side of the death ray. This will cause an animation in which the death ray shoots down Tank Dempsey from the sky. A small golden piece will have spawned in the courtyard. Pick this up because you'll need it for a later step. You now need to end the round and repeat the wisp step. Once you've shot 4 wisps again, the teleporter will be ready for use. Just like the first time, interact with it when all players are on it. This will take you back in time again. Head straight to the right and interact with the Apothecon box. This will cause another box to open near the door. Inside, there will be 1 stone tablet, which you need to grab. This next step requires you to have the golden rod that fell into the courtyard when you shot Dempsey out of the sky, so if you don't have it yet, make sure and pick that up. Place this into the Knight's table by the Wrath of the Ancients. This will spawn a keeper. The keeper will lead you to 4 different locations, these being the courtyard, mule kick room, double tap room, and the power room. You now have to get kills inside the circle with your upgraded bow to collect souls. Now, if you're doing this with more than 1 player, you'll need to make sure and pay attention to the color of the aura around your screen. For example, I had the fire bow, so when it was orange, that meant it was my turn to kill the zombies. The more players that are in the circle, the bigger the circle will be, making it easier to get kills, so try and have all the players in the circle. Now keep in mind, once you get to double tap, you'll have to put the stone tablet you collected into the pillar behind the keeper, otherwise the circle will not spawn. Once you've collected souls in all 4 circles, the keeper will lead you back to the pyramid. Make sure you're not standing in the square of the pyramid or you will get downed. Once the pyramid spawns back in the middle, you'll notice there are 3 blue canisters and 1 corner is missing. This is where you'll place the canister you collected earlier. Once you've placed it, the pyramid will open up and you're ready to begin the boss fight. You'll now want to make sure you're prepared with all the gobblegums and weapons you'll need before the boss fight. Like I said earlier, the near-death experience gobblegum will make this boss fight much easier. But of course, it's up to you how easy you want to make it and what gobblegums you want to bring. To start the boss fight, all players in your game must stand on one of the squares around the pyramids. Pull out your Ragnaroks and at the same time plant them down in the ground. Your screen will flash and you will all enter the boss fight arena. The whole point of this boss fight is to kill the giant keeper in the middle. The only way you can deal damage is by waiting for his chest to glow gold. Then everybody needs to shoot the glowing spot as much as possible with their upgraded bows. The most important part of the boss fight is to stop the boss's lightning attack. When you see a ball of lightning in the middle, you will know he's about to use this attack. One player will need to plant their Ragnaroks down in the middle to stop this from happening. Use your Ragnaroks one after the other so everybody else's will have a chance to recharge. If for some reason nobody has their Ragnaroks available at this point, hide behind the pillars. This will keep you from taking any damage from the attack, but you'll need to be careful not to be killed from behind. Also, make sure you don't step out from behind the pillar too early or you will be instantly downed by the lightning. One more tip that will make this boss fight much easier is to have all of your players go in the same direction. For example, have everyone run clockwise or counterclockwise. That way you won't run into each other's hordes by accident. After a few hordes of zombies and panzers, you should have done enough damage to kill the boss. When this happens, you'll have a death animation and your screen will flash white. This will then teleport you back to the pyramid room. Now you actually have one final step before the Easter egg is really complete. The summoning key will be glowing on the front of the pyramid. Interact with it, and then you can interact with it a second time to pick it up. Take the summoning key up to the computers by the clock tower. Once you press the interact key, the summoning key will float and shock the computers. This leads into one of the coolest zombies map endings in history. It will also lead into a second cutscene, and congratulations, you have now completed the My Brother's Keeper Easter egg. I hope you guys found this guide helpful, and please let me know in the comments if there's any other zombies tutorials you'd like to see me make. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.